Today, net neutrality, how the telco and cable industries are trying to delay progress into a future where there's no place for them. Your host is Rick Fackelfinger, and this is Liberty's Report.
This report is presented by Private Internet Access.
Welcome to Liberty's Report Week 7, 2015, which is about net neutrality, the cable TV industry, the telco industry, and the upcoming vote in the Federal Communications Commission on February 26. The concept of net neutrality is essentially the legacy industries trying to Disneyize the internet. If you can see what a cable TV offering looks like and see the internet looking like that, then that is what a couple of legacy players want. The European Union voted on April 3, 2014 for strong net neutrality, sharpening the European Commission's proposal considerably, the European Commission being the executive power in the European Union, and which had proposed a net neutrality with exceptions so vague and so wide that there essentially was no net neutrality at all. It was a proposal for the exact opposite of net neutrality. The European Commission had proposed allowing so-called specialized services for internet service providers that could mean anything and which were accepted from the net neutrality rules. The European Parliament, however, when voting on this on April 3rd, strengthened the definition of these specialized services so much that European Union now has strong net neutrality on the table. Net neutrality meaning that everybody's an equal on the net, that you don't get a fast lane just because you're rich and famous, which is what enables all of these garage offerings, which is what enables competitiveness online, which is what enables disruption at its finest. The United States, meanwhile, keeps falling behind in internet broadband, in internet penetration, in household bandwidth. And that's largely because it's under siege by legacy industries. ISPs in the United States basically means cable television networks and telco companies. Whereas in large parts of the world, if you have access to the internet, that means you have a fiber to your home. I had fiber to my home, full duplex fiber, in 1999. That's 15 years ago. Lots of parts of the United States still don't have that, not to mention most parts of the US have never heard of that as a concept. And that is a huge problem. Because these industries, cable television and telco, will never allow the internet to reach its potential. Not on their own accord, they will not. And why is this? Well, it's just not in their strategic interest to boost the internet in any way, shape or form. It's only in their interest to not allow the internet to take shape. So they're doing the least possible and imaginable that they can get away with to still pretend that they are building and rolling out the internet. Let's take a look at why. The cost of a voice call today is exactly zero. It has been exactly zero for over a decade. More exactly, since August 2003, when Skype launched. And on a free market, anything higher than the lower cost is going to converge toward the lower cost. Therefore, the market price of placing a voice call today is exactly zero and has been for over a decade. The cost of cable television is exactly zero and has been for about a decade, since November 2005, more precisely, when YouTube launched. YouTube receives 300 hours of video every minute today. That means that YouTube alone provides 18,000 times real-time video entertainment. Arguably, it varies a lot in quality and entertainment value. Then again, you couldn't reasonably say that that's not also true for cable television, can you? So YouTube alone provides 18,000 24/7 television channels equivalent. This service is free, entirely free. There's not a lot of intrusive advertising in it. It's certainly time limited, and the cost is absolutely zero. Cable television will cease to exist. Telco companies, the entire industry, will cease to exist. They are very, very aware of this, and so they are preventing the internet's potential with every fiber of their being. About a decade ago, in Europe and the United States, the old national telco monopolies and the cable TV providers bought all the nascent internet service providers. Lock, stock and barrel. just make sure that the telcos would be the only ones operating the internet, thus making sure that they were not outcompeted by somebody who just had a better service. Today, they are wielding all of that monopolistic power in Europe and the United States to, again, prevent the internet's potential. Because since then, we've essentially had no development at all of the internet's infrastructure. And this is coming to a head. This conflict is coming to a head in the net neutrality debate. The truth is that it's not just equal access regulation that's needed. The truth is that governments must stop trusting and subsidizing telcos and cables to roll out the internet, because they will not. It goes against every strategic business interest of telcos and cable companies to roll out the internet. Fight for the Future is just right now highlighting a vote in the United States with the Federal Communications Commission that comes on February 26, where everybody should pitch in and call Congress, if you're in the United States, to push this vote in the right direction for net neutrality. But we need to be aware that this is not the end of telcos and cables. It might possibly be the end of the beginning of internet infrastructure, because in the long run, we must have internet providers that depend on the internet succeeding, and not, as today, have internet providers that have so much luggage, legacy, and baggage that they can't possibly allow the internet to succeed. We can't afford such internet service providers. I'm Rick Falkvinger, and this is Liberty's Report. Visit our sponsor, Private Internet Access. Good night.
This report is presented by Private Internet Access.
Liberty's Report is produced using exclusively free software.